all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you with another edition of Stout Sunday. And joining me today, we have Eric Fraunfelter from Massachusetts. He has a YouTube channel, Massachusetts Beer Reviews, a.k.a. Thomas Metal 75. Go check him out. If you haven't already, we've got Michael Kormaroff from the great state of New York over there in Brooklyn. And we've got Ronald Terrio, Louisiana Beer Reviews. I think everybody knows who Ron is. If you don't, get on it. Thanks for joining, guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you, John.
All right. So we'll go to my right. We'll go over here to Eric Fraunfelter with his beer first. What do you got, Eric?
I got a Tree House Brewing Company beer, but this is obviously not one of their IPAs. So take a look at that. All that is and all that ever will be. There's a lot of words on this. This is a coffee milk stout. They say it is a milk stout brewed with coffee and rich dark chocolate at 6.5%. And I believe this one was canned on 9/16/2019. There you go, people. Yeah, looking forward to that.
All right. So we have got Michael Kormaroff. What do you got?
This is a revisit of A. Lecoq from Estonia, and it's called Imperial Extra Double Stout at 7%. The first time we did this on another Stout Sunday, or I did this on another Stout Sunday, the consistency of it looked more like a brown ale, and I have poured it again, and it does seem to have a little bit of a thicker consistency, so that might have been a bad beer.
All right. Interesting.
So hopefully this will be better. But it does not look like your typical, deep, thick thing. It's still, I don't know if you can tell from looking at it, it's darker than that. Do you remember what the brown ale looked like? This is darker than that other than what brown ale looked like, but it's not thick. If you look at the consistency, it's more what we might call a thinner stout, thinner.
Right.
I'll know more when I taste it, but I mean, from the look of it, it looks more. So maybe the other one, it's hard to tell. I don't even know.
Right. Well, hey, it already looks better. So we'll, fingers crossed.
Apparently, that is the favorite beer. Was the favorite beer of Nicholas II of Russia.
Okay. You're in great company there, I guess, Michael. I don't know. Okay. So Ronald Terrio, what are you drinking this morning?
I have Founders Breakfast Stout. This is the label that got banned in some places. It's 8.3% alcohol, 60 international bitterness units. It's made with bitter chocolate and imported chocolate and 2 types of coffee and flaked oats. So I am drinking a flavored beer. I've been doing so many flavored beer reviews. This was bottled in January, but that won't matter much, I don't think, at this alcohol level.
It might actually be a little, or I might like it a little bit better, being that it's from January, because the 65 IBUs might be tamed down a little bit and get a little bit more of a malty presentation with it.
The 60, yeah.
Or 60, yeah, 60. That's getting up there. I mean, that's like getting up there towards Old Rasputin.
Right.
Which is one of the most bitter stouts I think I've ever had, is the Old Rasputin. Okay, let's see. We've got Blake TV in the chat. Cheers to you, Blake. Thanks for watching.
You've been out
one of these days, Blake. Get you a stout and hop on one of these days, man. All right, so I've got the Allagash Black, which I have never had before. This is first time ever with this. It's a Belgian-style stout. Clocks in at 7.5% ABV. They are Allagash is out of Portland, Maine. Been around since 1995. I've had a few of their beers, some of their barrel aged. They have a Hero line where they barrel age different beers. This one is not barrel aged, but it is a Belgian style stout, meaning that they use Belgian yeast and Belgian candy sugar in this beer.
Yep.
Grains are 2-row malted barley, black malts. They do have oats in this, along with chocolate malt and roasted barley. Hops are Northern Brewer and Glacier, and they use the Belgian Abbey style yeast. So very interested to try this. I'll go ahead and crack mine open, give it a pour, and we will go back to Eric with his treehouse.
Hello, everybody in the YouTube land community. What all that is and all that ever will be. Apparently, one of the brewers got married, and this was a beer to celebrate and honor a marriage. Look at the big holes and like Swiss cheese looking cork kind of head to that. That is kind of interesting. Fairly pitch black. You are getting your typical right down around the bottom of the glass, your typical ruby red, but fairly black. And it's going to have a little bit of lacing. It's only 6.5, so not the biggest. Yeah, it's like big old dark chocolatey, or I guess like a semi-sweet baker's kind of chocolate almost. It's getting towards the dark chocolate. I was going to say like a chocolatey syrup, but it kind of has a little bit of a molassesy sweetness in it there. A lot of medium roasted coffee for me. There's definitely the milk in there. I'm definitely getting the lactic sugariness to it. And it has big old fudgy, almost like you're eating a fudgy brownie kind of notes to it. So, dark cherries? Yeah, fruitiness too. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, much bigger and richer mouthfeel than 6.5 would let you believe. The big fudgy notes are there. The medium roasted coffee notes, getting that lactic, sugary sweetness to it, and big old notes of those darker fruits and plums, maybe raisins, cherries. Definitely has a good moderate carbonation to it. It goes down fairly easy, but there is a big old sweetness in that beer, just desserty. It's not cloying, or it's not nasty, or it's not any one thing that's overriding anything else in the sweetness, which is really nice. It's got a nice medium towards the full body of its viscosity. It's almost kind of syrupy, but again, if you look at this kind of desserty, that's the perfect way to go. It is not really dry, again, desserty, and it is very, very, very drinkable for what this is. So if you're really into your dessert beers, really into coffee beers, you kind of like that little bit of viscosity to your beer, to the beer body, you might like this one. And I guess unless you go to New England, you got to trade for stuff like this. So yeah, so far so good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I got to say, I'm very happy to see you drinking a Treehouse beer that is not an IPA. I didn't even know they made other beers, because it seems like all you guys up there in the Massachusetts area, you craft beer pours, Bumpy, all you get, y'all drink the IPAs all the time, but it's very rare that we see their other selection. I'm sure they probably don't make as many of those beers, but it's nice to see.
A lot of people you ask will tell you that they think their stouts are even better than their hoppy offerings. However, I think between their hoppy offerings and their stout beers, the mouthfeel on these things are just lush and luxurious and nice and creamy and just good. So get yourself to New England, people. Come on, let's go.
All right. Or just become friends with Eric and have him ship you all the beer. All right. I'm just kidding. Okay. So we will go to we'll go to Michael Kormaroff next with his Estonian beer.
Not the greatest here in terms of seeing this. Let me turn it around so you can see it. You notice the head has subsided a bit since I poured it. It's a beige head. It's down to a quarter of a finger at this point, very small. The beer is dark brown in color. And let me give it a nose. Dark roasted malts. A little bit of chocolate in the background, maybe some coffee as well. Let me give it a taste.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow. Well, this is different than the first one I tried, so already it's an improvement. full-bodied feel to it, and I guess the mouth feel itself is medium, but it's the taste is really nice.
Would you say that? I mean, first impressions that it's better already than the one that you had last time?
Yeah, the other one was thinner than this, so I don't know if it was mistreated on its way from Estonia to the United States, and that could be a reason. You can have a bad bottle on anything you try, but this is different. You're getting the dark roasted malts, you're getting the coffee and the dark chocolate. Let me see if I'm getting anything else. It's got a very full, balanced taste that I really like. They've been able to put these different components together very well, and it goes down very easily. It's very drinkable, and it's 7%. But to me, you could think this was kind of like a session beer, because it really they're even covering that 7% very well. You'd have to be careful with a beer like this.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting, like that beer, and then some of the ones from Lithuania, the Rinkuskia beers. It's not necessarily the brewing process, because for the most part, it seems like the brewers, the consistency and the quality standards have really increased over the last 10, 15 years. But the shipping has a lot to do with it. It seems like a lot of these imported beers, they're kind of hit or miss sometimes, which is interesting.
They come probably in container ships, and maybe sometimes the way they're packed into the ship, some of the bottles suffer from.
Right.
If they're closed, it can't be the light, but maybe they're shaken up, or some other thing which disturbs the beer, kind of thing. I have no idea.
It is interesting. I had I believe it was the Crazy Brewski, and I thought it was terrible. And then you had one, you thought it was really good. And then you had another bottle, and you said it was pretty much a drain pour. So it's interesting. It makes me wonder, like, how they're shipping some of these beers over here.
I still wonder how they classify them. I'm talking about Rinskuziko, how they have imperial pilsners, and they're not. I mean, the style is different. If you look at the way we view it, maybe they want to call it that. They can, I guess, but they're not. They're definitely different styles, and I would say most of their styles are more like barley wines. It's just a bunch of malts together to raise the alcohol to high levels, and sometimes they're amazing, and sometimes they're poor. So I don't know how to justify it.
Right.
They might just not be a very good company, and they put out inconsistent products.
It could be, but
it's possible.
All right. Well, we will go.
I'll mull over this for a while to give you a number.
Yeah, we'll let you keep sipping on that and come back around. We've got Craig Swinson in the chat. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for tuning in, Craig.
Hey, Craig.
Also got Ronnie S. tuning in on this fine Stout Sunday morning. Cheers to you, Ronnie.
Oh.
All right, so we will go to Mr. Ronald, a Lions fan, next with his Founder's Breakfast Stout.
Craig, you are so smart. Now, here is the beer, and here is the glass, and here I will pour it. Not the thickest head; it's medium, right?
Nice.
Dark.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like this glass. Kind of I might buy another one. I like it. It's kind
Breakfast glass.
What?
That's a breakfast glass right there.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, it's coffee. It smells like coffee, chocolate, dark malts, kind of like a chocolate shake, which is also made out of malt. Medium to heavy body, velvety, chocolatey, taste of coffee. It's dark roasted but not burnt. The oatmeal smooths it out, gives it some viscosity. Good morning, all. Oh, 47 straight. What happened to the Saints, Ron? Nothing. They didn't play till 1 o'clock Eastern. I like the Southeastern Louisiana Lions. Get it? A university. But I went to see Tulane yesterday, not the Lions. Okay, but anyway, and Tulane beat a New England team 49-7. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
University of Connecticut. This is dynamite and it's cheap. $2.19 for delicious, and there's no weird off flavors. It doesn't look strange. It doesn't smell strange. It tastes good.
Yeah, look at the hold that up again. Look at the lacing on that glass. My goodness.
This is breakfast, but it's not breakfast because I already had my mid-morning snack of buttery crackers with sliced Vienna sausage and Cajun Chef hot sauce.
That sounds fucking good. Pardon my French. That sounds good.
Eric has been known to use swear words from time to time.
There are worse offenders in our beer community.
Anthony Lion fan, you better get out of here.
Fudge.
No, not the New Lions.
You know what? I was reading a couple of reviews on Beer Advocate of this Treehouse. All that is and ever will be. All that is and all that ever will be. You said milkshake with the malts and stuff. It's exactly what people are trying to say about this thing. With that syrupiness in that big old fudge and some, I guess, even vanilla. That's exactly what's coming into my mind too, as well.
Just go to Burger King and buy a chocolate shake, and you're going to notice, because they use malted wheat though, I think, for the shakes, and it's like germinates, and then they use the malted barley for this with some oats. But the problem, when I made one of those ice cream floats with the stout ice cream, it was gross though, because it was like malt against malt. It was like
the malt bomb.
Yeah, it was like started making you kind of sick to your stomach. In fact,
I would never do. I mean, maybe with like a really cheap beer, but if you're gonna buy a nice stout, why would you put it in ice cream? I don't know. That seems like a waste of.
Serve it on the side.
If you like ice cream, but it's too much malt. I didn't mind the sugar and the sweetness and all of that, but it was just I said, nah.
I just hope it wasn't a $5 bottle of some really.
It was Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, I think.
Oh,
stink running.
That's still a shame. That's such a great beer.
It was a one-time thing.
All right. Well, I will go ahead and give you guys a quick breakdown of my beer. This is Allagash Black, 7.5% alcohol, a Belgian style stout. We're creating our own styles now up in Portland, Maine. Really good. You get the candy sugar and it almost smells like a Belgian quadruple ale. You're getting the dark fruits on the aroma, some plum, some fig, maybe a little raisin in there, much like a Belgian quad, but you also get the dark chocolate notes and a very significant roast from the roasted barley malt. I mean, it smells really good. And it definitely smells like dessert, very sweet, very fruity. You get the chocolate. It smells delightful. So cheers, guys. I haven't tasted it yet. I've been holding out. It did pour with like a 3-finger head, which has kind of died down. But as you can see, it does have some nice little remnants of the head that are sticking around.
Like your brewery glass.
This is the first.
Thank you. Yeah.
This is the first time you're drinking this beer, correct?
First time I've ever had this beer.
Heard of it. I've never heard of that one or the one Eric has, but of course.
Allagash, Ron, I know you've heard of Allagash though, Ron, right? You just can't.
I hear people talking about it all the time.
Louisiana hates Allagash for some reason.
You cannot get any Allagash beers there.
Not to my knowledge.
So yeah, it's a Belgian style stout. Now, when I went to the brewery a couple of years ago, they made the point that the Belgians don't have their own stout. But they're, like you said, John, they're doing things to the beer that are within Belgian brewing traditions.
Right. They're taking a stout and they're taking the Belgian yeast and the candy sugar and making it their own thing.
I think that should be.
I'm really enjoying this. You get the chocolate notes on the aroma. You get all those fruit notes that I mentioned, or on the palate. You get the fruit notes on the palate with the chocolate. It's almost like chocolate covered fruit. That Belgian yeast character is really coming through nicely. It's really roasty. It's not charred, but the roast is very prominent with this one. It I guess it has to be, because otherwise the fruity flavors and the sweet sugary notes from the Belgian candy sugar in there might take over, but it's very enjoyable. There is some bitterness to this one on the finish as well. And I said the hops, let's see, Northern Brewer and Glacier hops are what they use. So there is a bitterness. It's almost like a bitterness from like coffee. Like it's hard to distinguish. It's just a bitterness. It's not earthy, it's not floral, it's not fruity, it's just a bitterness. It's good. I really like the combination of the chocolate notes from the roast and the fruity notes, the dark fruit notes from the Belgian yeast, and that candy sugar in there. It's not overly sweet though. The bitterness with the roast and the hops balances out nicely with all those dark fruit notes and the chocolate. I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of mind-boggling in a way. This is the first time I've had it. Let's leave some nice lacing there on the glass as well. I'll have to think about this one a little bit, but it's definitely enjoyable. It's just a lot different from any other stout that I've ever had. So with that being said, we'll go back to Eric.
Hey, John, real fast. Did I get the cheapest stout today?
Say that again now?
Did I get the cheapest one today?
$2.90.
$2.29.
$2.29. I got you beat by 10 cents.
This one was definitely not. This was it was $14.99 for the 6-pack.
Ooh, sick.
But I think Michael has a 500 milliliter bottle, right?
It's 16.9 ounces.
Yeah, he's got me beat because he got it cheaper per ounce, so I feel played.
Hey, but you know what? Founders make some great stuff, and we all know that. We've all had the Founders Breakfast Stout. We all know that's good stuff. So you didn't really. I mean, it's still a very good product.
Mine would have been around that $3.55, $4 a can. So I'm not the cheapest beer. No. But again, yeah, you all beer nerdy people, you should know that that's a Treehouse logo. Yeah, all that is and all that ever will be, again, in collaboration with one of the brewers at Treehouse and their wedding and reminiscing and doing all kinds of stuff. I am drinking it with a K-Cup from McDonald's, and actually that goes pretty good after you drink this beer. Really nice. So this beer, milk stout, sweet stout, whatever you want to call it.
Who makes McDonald's coffee? Is that Maxwell House that they use?
I think it's New England Coffee. I think it's literally what
I thought Ronald McDonald was in the back making it himself. I didn't realize.
Yeah, he's shitting in the. No. Anyways, this is a really great beer if you're looking for more of a sweet milk stout, more of a desserty kind of stout. At 6.5, it doesn't taste that low of ABV. It tastes like a much bigger, fuller bodied stout, which is really great. And if they're using any white wheat in this beer, it is only being done to fluffen up, if that's a word, and to really smooth the mouthfeel out. Because everything from IPAs, hoppy beers, to stouts from Treehouse have the nicest, fluffiest consistency in their mouthfeel. So if that's what you're looking for with your fudgy, brownie, medium roasted coffee and your lactic sort of a milk sugar sweetness, then this is a good beer for you. I want to give a different rating than a 93, so I'll go right up to 94. There's a world class beer.
That's still high.
That's still very high. The only thing personally for me is I kind of wish that the sweet syrupy body was a little bit diminished a little bit to make some of the drinkability even higher. But I mean, at 6.5%, you can't still complain about how it's drinking for, it not being a high ABV beer. It tastes like it's higher than it is. So very good. You can probably session this at $4.55 maybe. You might want to supplement some of the cheaper stouts out there too with it. But great beer nonetheless. Thank you. Treehouse and John
All
O'Neill.
right. We've got Craig in the chat says on a whim he bought a sixer of the Metallica Internight Pilsner. Then he got home and realized it was a Stone beer. In case you don't know, I have a self-imposed ban of Stone beers.
Oh, wow.
But then he says it was actually all right. So
There you go.
I have not had the Internight Pilsner. I've seen it, but I'm kind of like you, Craig. I don't have a ban on Stone beers, but I tend to gravitate more towards other stuff because a lot of their beers are a little overly bitter, and whatever hops they use to me are medicinally bitter and they're not enjoyable, especially the Arrogant Bastard, which I know Ron enjoys, but I could not hardly drink that stuff.
I love it.
We can't be friends anymore, Ron.
He's loving it.
I was just on this video for a courtesy. I didn't think we were.
Right. Okay. Ronnie says breaking news: the Hamburglar makes the McChicken.
Uh-oh.
I did not know that. All right, we'll go back to Michael with his Estonian beer. What are you thinking, Mike?
As it warms, it's actually the taste is getting more intense, and it's actually even better. So I'm enjoying this a lot. I am going to give it a 95.
95.
Damn.
Okay.
So, yeah, baby.
Solid A.
Now, I'm trying to remember what you gave the last one. Do you remember what your rating?
I actually could look it up, but it would be a hassle to look it up. It's in my book.
Okay, well, you don't have to worry about it now, but I know it wasn't a 95.
No, I think I gave it a B plus. I think it was something like an 89 or an 88 or something like that. So I didn't like it. This is decidedly better. Now I have to assume the other one was mishandled. That's I'm trying to be fair to them. It was a bad bottle. And the reason I was willing to retry it, it's sold in my distributor. And when I return bottles, I have to decide to get something, even though you can take the cash back. I usually like to take beer back just to try different things. And I bought that first bottle there too. And I said, how can you go wrong trying it a second time? And I'm happy I did.
All right. So 94 and a 95 so far. Looking good. I think Ron just went to take a phone call, so I can go ahead and give the rating of mine.
Hey, I'm back. I'm back.
I ain't done.
All right, so we are.
It was a woman. You know me. Women calling me.
Oh no, I don't.
Because you're not a woman and you don't call me. All right. Now, another unfriend. All right, now. All right. No, all kidding aside, though, I wanted to see if I wrote a check-in on Untapped for this, but I can check on that later. But honestly, and I think it's a 96 out of 100. No, it's a 97 out of 100. But that's kind of getting tricky.
Wow.
It's a good beer. I mean, if you like inexpensive, relatively inexpensive dynamite products, this might be something you might enjoy.
Absolutely. Now, I think it's up there. It's close to world class. I mean, it's definitely excellent. The only reason I don't give it a higher rating than I did, which I know was somewhere in the 90s, was because for my personal palate, the bitterness is a little much for my personal preferences, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's an excellent beer.
Yeah, and that's not really coming into play right now. But you're not a coffee guy. When I was visiting you last year, we talked about that, and you were saying, nah, I'm not really into coffee, So
I don't mind coffee flavors in stouts. I feel like a lot of the stouts, though, that add coffee, they overdo it. Coffee's such a strong flavor that when you add coffee to a beer, a lot of times, at least in my opinion, I feel like they add too much, and it takes away from the other aspects of the beer, and all I get is coffee, coffee, coffee. I'm not picking up the dark chocolate. I'm not getting the roast. I'm not getting the if there are hops in it, I'm just getting that coffee flavor, at which point I'm thinking to myself, well, man, I should have just had a coffee, So, which, by the way, I did post a review yesterday of the Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee. I found a 4-pack of that, and I thought it was a beer, which it is technically a flavored malt beverage, but it contains milk, and you pour it, and it looks just like iced coffee. And
I had a product similar to that John Elliott, and it was made with vodka. Now I didn't care for the vodka flavor,
Ooh.
but the coffee, it was 12, and it was 12.5% alcohol.
Woo.
But the coffee and cream was so profound.
Right.
And, so talking about coffee in a little bit, I'm gonna show y'all something. But anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's strange. Anyway, anybody out there who can find the Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee, if you're into iced coffee or just coffee in general, coffee with cream and sugar, you're going to love it because that's exactly what it tastes like. For whatever reason, I was thinking it was a coffee pale ale, but it's not.
What?
I don't know. For whatever reason, I thought that the PBR hard coffee was with coffee. But
I never see it because that company's insane.
Yeah, it is. I found it at the World of Beverage in Fairburn. I went there yesterday on my day off to see what selection they had, and I found that. So anyway,
He wants to stay or go.
I will let me give a rating of mine here, but my goodness, I'm having a hard time keeping up with the chat today. We've got Craig and Blake and Jeremy and all you guys are awesome here. And Eric, don't think I don't see what you're putting in the chat.
Well, we got Ronnie S going.
I'm
I'm Ronnie, a loser Jets fan. I'm like, it's better than a Dolphins fan.
Right.
Oh, that guy's a
Here you go. Here's one for you, Eric.
I'm a stupid Patriots fan.
The problem is it's hard to make it's hard to really trash the Patriots, Ronnie, because they win all the time. So,
but that's all they do besides win Super Bowls, every year or two.
Right. Other than all those Super Bowls, what have they really done? Right.
Nothing.
John, the Dolphins have as many wins as the Jets, so you're as good as them.
Actually, haven't the Jets won a game? They haven't won a game yet?
Not.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
well, you know what, though? We're just giving the Patriots the AFC pretty much because the AFC East
they tend to take it anyway, whether you give it to them or not.
Right, I know. But it'd be nice if some of the other teams would win a few games to keep it competitive.
that's their fault for not winning.
The Saints. It only took. Oh, but that's cool. It only took the Saints 33 years to win their first playoff game, but
right. Y'all are looking good now, even with Drew Brees out. Teddy Bridgewater is holding it down, and I'd love to have Teddy Bridgewater on my team on the Dolphins.
That would be good.
If Drew Brees comes back, why don't you loan us Teddy Bridgewater?
Everybody says he's a bridge over troubled waters.
I remember when Archie Manning was your quarterback, and the Saints fans wore bags over their head.
Oh no!
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
But that was many moons ago, and
yeah, I remember the whole thing because 1980, they had bumper stickers everywhere issued by Popeye's Chicken, and all the bumper stickers said, "Let's get fired up," because everybody was excited about 1980. Oh yeah, this is the year, and they won one game and lost 15, so everybody was pretty depressed.
All right. Before we get too off topic here, I have to give a rating of my beer, which I'm really liking the dark fruit flavors and with the stout, with the roast and the dark chocolate notes that I'm getting.
Yes.
The carbonation is really prickly too, really fine, prickly. And the body, I don't think I mentioned before, it's not really heavy body. It's more on the medium side, getting up there towards heavy, but it's not syrupy. It's not super, thick and viscous. It's it drinks very nicely. The 7.5% is masked well. It's really enjoyable. It's definitely in the A range. It's a little strange because it's not like anything I've ever had with a stout because of that Belgian yeast and candy sugar in there. I'm going to go with a 93. It's better than an A-. It's just getting in there to the, solid A. I really enjoy it. I think the more that I drink of the 6-pack, the more I'll probably like it. It just takes some getting used to because the flavors are not typical of a stout. It's kind of like if you took a Belgian quad and a stout and mixed them together, that's what this is.
But not worth the price, though.
$14.99. I'm glad I tried it, but there's so many stouts. I probably won't buy it again anytime soon. If I could find a single, I'd probably buy it. But first, $14.99 is a little pricey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to try it for years. I've been seeing it around forever. and it's always caught my eye because of the Belgian style stout. So I finally just splurged and picked up a 6-pack, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, I would recommend everybody that's a fan of Belgian quads and stouts to try it. But as far as the value buying it again and again, I don't know about that.
Hey, boy.
Ronnie says he'd like to try it. Ronnie, I think you'd like it, although you're not really the biggest fan of stouts. This might be one right up your alley because it doesn't have your typical stout. I mean, it does have the dark chocolate notes and the roast, but for the most part, it's a lot different. So if you've had Belgian quads, Ronnie, or Belgian ales, just in general with that Belgian yeast, you might like this one because it is very Belgian-esque. Let's see, a lot of football. This is Stout Sunday, not Football Sunday. Come on, people.
Come on.
Yeah, Blake, I'd say that's probably a pretty safe bet that you guys can win today.
Where's Drunken One, John? How come he's not here?
Drunken One is, I don't know, passed out under a tree somewhere. Now he actually. He stayed over at a friend's house last night. They were cooking out, barbecuing, so he's probably not even home yet.
He's home on the range.
Yeah.
Home on
So let's see. Ron, you wanted to talk about something coffee related, or you had something you wanted to show us?
Coffee.
Yes. Hold on.
Holding on.
So talking about coffee, I have New Orleans roast.
Ooh.
It's dark roast and chicory.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. This is it's New Orleans roast, but it's from Covington, Louisiana. So, not New Orleans. All right. The second one is called CDM. It's automatic drip Cafe Du Monde.
Oh, from the famous beignet place, huh?
Yeah. The beignet place has been there since 1860. Cafe Du Monde, and it's coffee and chicory. And this is made by Riley Foods. Riley Foods makes a lot of products around here. And there's more to that story. But also, I have a few other things. If you want me to show them to you guys.
Yeah, go for it. We're doing good on time. We're not even at 40 minutes yet. I will show this here real quick too. Ronnie says he does like Belgian ales. The quad he had was excellent. So Ronnie, if you can find the Allagash Black, check it out. You'd probably like it. Eggnog. Yeah, that's right. It's eggnog season again.
That's from the same company that makes the Evan Williams bourbon.
The bourbon, yeah.
Black. It's made with Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, blended whiskey, rum, and brandy. Well, also, I have from Mexico. I bought this yesterday before I went to the Tulane game.
Bohemia, yeah. I'm pretty sure I've had that, but it's been a long time since I've had the Bohemia.
Also, I have this that I've been dealing with. It's been years since I've had it.
Oh, Goose Island IPA? Yeah.
Classic.
Now, have you tried their newer one, their Next Coast IPA yet?
Haven't seen it. Now, here's what I ran across yesterday that I never saw before in my life.
Crooked Stave. Yeah, we don't get that here.
We get Crooked Stave in the co-op.
Oh, yeah? It's new to me.
Yeah, we get
it.
So have you tried the Crooked Stave yet, or you just got it?
I just bought him yesterday afternoon.
All right, Ron, send me a text when you drink it. Let me know how it is. I'll buy some. We have it at the co-op.
So I got Von Pilsner Keller beer. That's a German style. So it's very interesting. And I said, oh, I got to buy this, And that was the same store I bought the Founder's Breakfast Stout.
Okay, I have something to show as well. This is a Guinness. Let me get it in front here. I always have trouble lining this up.
I know it's backwards.
This is a Guinness Harp and Smittix glass.
Oh man.
You see it?
Oh,
That
cool.
is-
I also have the apparatus to make a black and tan.
Oh yeah.
You put the Guinness in, you stick this, and then you put your lager on top, and then it allows it to, you get that Guinness look when it gets together. And I've always been a big fan of black and tans. I think that's a good use of stout to mix it with a lager. And
Yeah.
the effect is very nice.
I agree with that.
Ronnie, yes, it is show and tell time. And since we're doing show and tell, Ronnie, I've got something to show as well. When I was at picked up this Old Forester 1920 Prohibition style bourbon, 115 proof, which is 57.5% alcohol, $57.99 for the bottle. This is one of the ones that Robert recommended. And I've it's been a long time since I've spent some money on some good whiskey.
yeah.
I've been buying a lot of cheap stuff like the Lord Calford and the the Chivas is not cheap, but that one, that's a Scotch anyway. But bourbon, I wanted some really good bourbon. Look at the color of that. I mean, that's a dark.
David Garlipede and I did a video review of that about 3 years ago.
Really. I'll have to look for that. I didn't know that.
We sure did.
I'm sure you. What'd you think? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, we were bragging on it. We were really bragging on it. And I saw some of that yesterday when I was at the Tulane game. I went to Elio's Wine Warehouse, and I said, "Look at that, 1920. We tried that once."
So anyway, I'm very, very excited about this. I'm probably going to sip on a little bit today, watching some of the football games, but I can't wait to get into that. So Ronnie wants to know what you're going to show, Eric. Everybody's done show and tell.
Eric, you have something you can show us?
I do. If you want me to go get something, yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. All right.
Well, Eric's going to get. I don't know if I showed this or not, but Ronnie Ed says he thinks McDonald's uses the New Orleans roast for their coffee. Somehow I doubt it, Ronnie. I don't know.
Show us the money. Hey, I got one more thing to show you before I get off here. I got to go call that person back. This week, folks, I'll be listening to this album, which came out 40 years ago.
Oh, Judas Priest.
Judas
Okay.
Priest.
It's called Unleashed in the East, Live in Japan. Although many people call it Live in the Studio because they think it was heavily kind of doctored to sound better than it would have been in a live setting. But anyway.
And if anybody wants a breakdown of Judas Priest music and the band in general, go watch this guy's. Actually, didn't you and William Kepley do a Judas Priest thing a couple years ago?
He got angry at me because I said that he got angry at me because I said in 1979 they started making disco music, and so we did a examination of that. So
right.
He took exception to it. I haven't heard from William Kepley in a while, but I've been thinking about him and praying for him.
He's back home. He's doing okay. He's recovering still and I think he might still be getting treatment, whatever. Anyway, William Kepley, if you're out there watching, we're thinking about you.
I'm glad you heard from him because I have not.
Yeah, just via email. It's been over a month ago now, but actually it's probably closer to 2 months. But he did finally respond to one of my emails, and he's hanging in there. So
he keeps in touch with me as well. He was doing okay, but still more treatment.
Man,
Eric has a bottle to show us.
Oh, Ronnie wanted to see something. All right. If you go to your local Trader Joe's, you can get these.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
$99. Here's one, the Provincial Belgian style golden ale.
I have one. I have that bottle in my collection.
7.5.
So I saw Providential, and there's another new one that just came out. Another Jeremy Vincent says, "Heck yeah, Judas Priest." But there's another new one that just came out, and one more thing, and I got to get off of here to go call the person back, John and Nile. I would be able to do a Lord Calvert examination today, but it would have to be before 1 o'clock Eastern because there ain't no way I'm missing a Saints game.
Oh,
That ain't gonna
ooh.
happen.
I'll
Probably
let,
some other time, but whatever.
yeah, I'll let you know. That might be kind of cutting it close. I got a couple things I got to do, but
No problem. No problem.
I'll let you know if I can. I'll send you a message. If I
And
can.
you also have to do that Chivas Regal revisit because I want you to get a chance for me to
Right.
review
Everybody wants to see that one you've got. That
86 proof one that I have.
Yeah, everybody wants to see that antique bottle.
I drank my big bottle, but I can actually buy the little small bottles. So if I would join that with you guys.
Yeah, and John and Neely, if you can't do it today, doesn't matter because I'll just drink down. I'm trying to drink down that Pie Hole cherry. You saw that bottle I got for $1.99.
That was good too, and I got to try that. Yeah, I enjoyed it. $1.99 is a steal for that. I mean, it's normally priced probably $14-15 maybe, but for $1.99, that is worth it.
It's about more like about $21 for that.
Really? Wow. Go to the New Orleans area if you want great deals on beer and liquor. It's insane down there.
And yeah, that's why we're a drinking state with a football problem. And also, but just let me know, but whatever. Got an hour and a half to go.
All right, Jeremy, you do that.
Move the game time so you can have your Lord Calvert review.
Got a feeling that ain't gonna happen. But if you got that kind of pull, you can get the whole internet changed. You can bring back Google Hangouts on air if you can do that.
All right. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Anyway, I had a little. I thought I was going to have some StreamYard issues because everybody froze for a second on my end, but thankfully it came back up. So we better stop while we're ahead here.
That's the proof. That's the proof that there's trouble out there. It's not just.
Well, it's definitely not my internet. It just froze for a second.
Hey, you'll be hosting Wild Card Wednesday as always. And
I don't know. Eric was planning on it, but
well, I just got busy on Wednesday, so I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But yeah, I will. And then I think on November, we're gonna do pumpkin beers.
Okay, I can get one.
The first Wednesday in November, pumpkin beers, and I've got my black pumpkin.
I had the Leinenkugel's Harvest Patch Shandy yesterday, and that thing was awesome. I didn't know what to expect because it's a shandy style beer, but man, that thing is good.
It's really good. And I got the Wasatch Black Pumpkin Stout.
I'll get one.
Nice.
I got a couple of weeks.
It's not like 10 years ago. 10 years ago you had pumpkin beers left and right. Now you got to kind of look for them. But
Jeremy says he's on the phone with the general manager.
Okay, Jeremy. I'm sure the people are going into the stadium right now. They're going to cancel it because we want to do Lord Calvert. Yeah, we're sure. All right. Thanks, John Neely. I'm out of here. Okay.
Take care, Jeremy.
All right.
Wednesday.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks to
Eric.
Thomas Metal 75, Eric Fraunfelser, Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Thanks to Michael Kormaroff from Brooklyn. Thanks to Ron Ontario of Louisiana Beer Reviews. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We wouldn't be here without you guys. We really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the football and beer. And until next time, everybody, cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
You taste those great beers.